Welcome to the Parody, where we tally up the victims in our favorite movies. I'm Chelsea Rose, and today we're looking at Synods, which was partially released / premiered in 2017. The hearing scheme with this one was confusing, because the first part of this was released in 2017, but the second part in 2018. For simplicity, I chose 2017. Outside of that, Synods serves as a reboot of the Moon Wars movies, the first ever franchise by Wadawan Stop Motion, made when Endpoint was young. It's really easy to tell too. This actually looks like some shit I'd make back in like 2018 or 19 when I was like 9 to 10 years old. There was a definitive need to refine what had come before it, and while the future soldier has set up one of the last chronological adventures before Clockwork came in, we need to see what happened on the other side. Thus when Skull and the boys met Drexen and Corin on the moon for the first time, commanded to murder an entire race Drexen's guys have some beef with. For the first part of the movie, it sets us up with a small threat, with the humans and the audience, not knowing the full extent of what is going on. The second part makes things abundantly clear when we meet the President of the United States at the time, Rebecca Snow. Her goals with the race on the moon have been mentioned already, to cause a genocide of the Synod race. Will that cause one of the highest kill counts of the franchise? Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins in J.C. Jensen territory. Space! Oh, and tap card! Seth Pelliser is writing down notes on the green lasering towards the moon. It's an empty, beautiful place to be, especially under the guise of America. We're actually following a younger Seth Pelliser, which should be pretty obvious by the fact he doesn't have a fully grown beard here. Another person on the adventure, Amy, also agrees with him that the space background is beautiful. They wish each other a good night, and we cut over to the moon. A guy with a hammer is flying about and shot Scream 4 would keep for itself. We get back to normal eyesight when he sees this black smoke come out of a moon crater. Corin, you seen? Oh, he only wants to go back home. Turns out Drexen here is on a quest through the universe to find where the last remaining members of the Synod race are, based on the events of his past that we saw in the Trinity. Corin gets Drexen's genocidal urges, but based on the fact that they are nearly powerless, he wants him to drop it. However, it's gonna take some humans on a module to try to stop him. Oh my god, you're not gonna believe this, dude. It's some humans on a module! Inside this place, Seth's brother Michael is witnessing the miracle of childbirth. I guess space isn't the only empty thing this guy's filled up. He lets Seth name the child, and he thinks of the movie Bumblebee's main star. I wonder what her uncle thinks about that. Oh, okay. Michael's consequential reactions to tell Seth that he may have some of Hannibal's rays.
And nobody beats the Riz.
Hey, try to deny it all you want, Seth. That'll come back by the time you enter the void. Away from that, Cameron delivers one of the funniest lines in the series, which Jeff responds with, President Snow fucking sucks, dude. Jeff also has theories on how their own president could be setting him up on a false alarm. Andrew Johnson, anyone? Seth and Michael barge in to tell them about the infant's name. Hot, holy one off-screen bet. Seth delivers his fifth vlog in front of a sliding moon PNG, relaying back to everyone that a child had been made. Michael's made the most of his life by but Seth's questioning his decisions, even though he's going up to the moon. Speaking of which, we see the American flag planted in the original Apollo missions during the 60s and 70s. Corin wants to know what this flag means and thinks the Synods did it. Drexen, however, knows more, saying that another race is residing nearby. To try and keep quiet, they hope the other race doesn't come across the Synods. Amy tries to start up a system, but an error occurs, probably because there's no keys on that keyboard. She hears a noise somewhere in the ship, but it turns out it's that piece of shit Jeff giving her a jump scare. Wait, why'd he come in pulling a Lightning McQueen? She's not amused. One of the reasons they're going up to the moon is because President Snow wants them to investigate radio interference they've spotted up there. However, some things stopping them from doing so are constant errors, even with solar radiation protection. In the sixth vlog, Seth tells us that they're nearing the moon, with the purpose of leaving after fixing the present problem. It may as well be Drexen so adamant about Sonaticide, with Corin trying to tell him that enough is enough with the threat of the species' endangerment. Drexen sees the free FPS rocket near the moon and decides that the quest is not yet over. The module lands on the moon, and while the crew gets out, the Iurians look from afar. Bro, this is an excellent view. You gotta see this. I promise tears won't do for teary thing. Drexen is curious about the, to them, aliens. However, Corin suggests that it could be hostile. Amy gets out with Earth gravity, and both of them get the go-ahead from everyone to start the mission. Drexen and Corin decide to follow the humans as Seth makes his seventh vlog, stating that they're approaching the faulty towers. After the Crimson invasion, the government decided to build this base of towers on the moon. Because of the amount of electricity required, they had to use the energy from the mothership after they took it down. Back at the module, Cameron gets the chance to congratulate Michael on his new daughter. However, he takes that as an opportunity to go to Florida for a Wait, I'm sorry, aren't you guys the Terror Legion? Because if you're doing this with NASA Part partnership, you're already on that fucking coast, dude. Guess that's why they spelled it wrong in the text. Outside the module, they overhear a strange noise that makes them go out of relaxed poses. Since they trust each other, Michael relays the noises to Seth while he and Amy are still fixing the tower. He says he'll be there after they're done. Michael wants his systems checked, but Cameron decides he wants to go out for himself. Amy deduces that the towers are working just fine, and while Amy theorizes it could be the generator, it could also be the oh my god, it's actually the generator. It appears something has tampered with the generator, and there wasn't someone among them. Nope, as Cameron sees, it might have been one of these guys, or as we know them, Synods. Those sharp arm things may have been able to cause the rips in metal. Michael gets out very quickly, and Amy and Seth head back to the scene. None of them are responsible for Synod's inevitable death, Drexen is. He gets the Synod down to the ground and uses his arm powers to wrap it in blue particles for the first kill of the film. Unusually, the first kill here is particularly late for the series, coming a staggering 24 minutes in out of 88. After that, Corin and Drexen start investigating the humans, and while Corin has probably certain plans, Drexen says to not worry about them, as to him, they're insignificant. Amy is pretty scared, but Seth has a plan. They come in peace, Drexen! No need for you and Corin to try and kill them. Corin doesn't buy all that much. We come back from part 1 inside a super secret base where the intercom calls for an agent named Jack Price. While Jack is in the background, this Agent 1 guy is telling him about the distress signal coming from the module. About them, Seth, Amy, and Michael are safe when he's not so threats. As for Cameron, he got pulled away by a weird creature. Said weird creature may as well be the Synods, based on how they're described. Turns out all three of them have something to do with them, as they have all seen the Synods. Jeff reaches the moon crew, and Amy relays the partially broken tower info to him. So they can converse with each other during the investigation, Jeff tells them to stay on the same channel. They also tell him that the moon creatures are aliens. Surprised no one ever mentions raiding the moon in this franchise. That is, except for Drexen and Corin, as they're basically just flat-out humans. They don't need anything for the humans, but they do need things for the native Iurian parasite Synods. Parasites are in air quotes, by the way. They tell the two that Cameron was abducted by the Synods, but Corin tells them that Cameron is dead. Down one guy / full course alien meal, they gotta get acting fast. Jeff might have overheard it, so he gives them the allowance to face the Synods. Amy is skeptical about the attack, but Seth tells her that no more should die. However, since they're huge, they need a plan. Seth isn't a Tremors character, so we need to figure something out. Drexen finds the courage in the moon dudes inspiring, and it reminds Corin of Drexen in some sort of way. Down in the moon, we see Cameron, since we didn't see any kill graphics. He wakes up and tries to call for his fellow Luna Sixers, but fails when he sees these curly-looking Synods all around the place. He runs away, but is overpowered. Down at the Terror Legion, Jack is looking over the agents as President Snow arrives. I see if you're introducing her with a page from Scream 3 this time. She wants the confirmation of alien life on the moon, which hasn't been seen before. Jack tells her that they're currently coming up with a plan to evacuate all of Luna 6, but President Snow wants blood to rain. She explains to him that since they're not humans, it's technically not genocide. Even if they were blown away during the Crimson Invasion, who knows what they could be planning. You know? I was originally going to supercut this back in 2022, but it got promoted to commentary status last year. That was before October 2023, and covering it now kind of feels inappropriate considering the ongoing genocide of Palestinians. In the description, I will provide links to help with them. I've already made community posts and delayed parodies because of this, but that's why. This is a really fucking important situation that could lead to even bigger problems if it isn't stopped as soon as possible. This current onslaught has been going on for 6 months now. Ever since starting in 1948, this is a problem that the United States has always favored Israel in. I feel as mentioning this would bring more awareness to all of you who seemingly only watch the parodies. Please help in whatever way you can. So with that, let's get back to the parody on this movie where the United States does and funds the genocide, which seems a bit familiar with the context. Drexen learns about the human race and where they live, that blue marble that we call Earth. Seth tells them that they've been attacked by aliens before, which explains why they said that they came in peace. These guys are of a different species, hadn't even heard of humanity before, so they wouldn't even have a reason to attack. These guys are Seths, not part of Crimson Onslaught and not part of the Synods, so technically also not humans. They also want to keep peace, even though Drexen wants to kill the Synods. We flash back to brief scenes of war with no kills. He says they took basically everything they had, so he brought out an Ice Cube special. If you want kills from this war, you gotta watch the parody on the Trinity. However, if it wasn't for human contact, he wouldn't have set it aside. But if they don't take direct precautions, the Synods may strike again. The humans share an understanding with Drexen and Corin, so they join their side. That is, if they both save their friend Cameron and take out the Synods. Inside the module, Amy agrees with Seth and the predilection that they shouldn't leave Cameron to die. Even if she could still be scared, she'll still join in saving astronaut Cameron. Michael tells Amy that Steph's always had a thing for familiar and friendly unity ever since both him and Steph were kids. Amy also sensed it due to her training time. Since they were without a father, Michael had to become the man in the house. He still remembers the exact day of the Crimson Invasion, which we'll get back to in the Dark Knight Apocalypse. Their mom tried their best to shelter them, but when they had to go out for standard shit, there was still a risk of invasions happening at literally any time. It was scary for them. Michael never got how bad it was until more recently, but Seth had it from the start. Seems as if it gave Seth a change of heart. Up in space, more Terror Legion goons are being led to the moon by Agent Price. They've already experienced alien doom, so it should be a no-brainer not to target the 5 they already know are up there. The actual plan is to escort them to safety and to kill the other guys on the moon with a balls-to-the-walls assault. That's what they say in the movie. So I guess you could say he's a haluva bot. Back in the module, Amy has a short nightmare before Seth wakes her up. He's been up the entire time, ever since landing on the moon. He has a plan, but they'll have to wait for the backups to make this tremors in space. Cameron is still alive, but if his chances get worse by the minute, they'll have to go. Getting the Synods down, though, will be a challenge. However, with the backups, anything is possible. And everything is awesome. The 5 main characters at this point look down the Synod's big hall, and the 3 humans tell Drexen and Corin their names. Drexen wishes them all luck, so Seth radios Jeff, telling them that they're entering. With a teary-eyed explanation that he can't radio them anymore after they enter, Jeff approves. They enter the hole to the Synods, making an epic Cameron waking up reaction video. Cameron comes face to face with the main Synod, Zarn. Zarn doesn't want to hurt Cameron, even though he says he'd make for the finest feast. Zarn wants to know where he came from, and after a brief struggle, Cameron caves in. Get it? Because he's in a cave. Zarn comprehends that Cameron is telling the truth, and in terms of snatching a 7-bill meal, he lets Cameron go. The caves are as dark as AVP Requiem, so no one knows where to go. Drexen finds out that they live in these caves, following the path to the big guy's Zarn. Corin wants all of them to stay together, as they may not be far off from the Synods. Jack and the other soldiers land on the moon. Jack tries radioing Seth, but he doesn't respond, as he's in the hole of communication failures. They make a full landing, and even with looking down the hole, there's still no response from anyone involved with Luna 6. That means Jack and Jeff have to communicate with each other. Jack senses that there's a secret to all this, so Jeff tells him that the others went down that big hole on the moon because one of their own was stolen by the Synods. Even if it seems like a dumb plan to Jack, he still decides to let the crew go down in order to find the astronauts. Also, there's President Snow wanting to murder all the moon aliens, so there's really no choice. Down the hole, the others have an eye out for Cameron in the dark conditions. Because of the darkness, Michael almost falls down the hole, but Seth saves him. Eventually, he hears something, and they figure out that he's in a rage close enough for them to get a signal from him. Oh yeah, he definitely is. He's got radio waves coming to them live. As Cameron flops, the gang gets closer to the Synods. Oh, that's a noise. There's definitely Synods for it. Corin takes care of this Synod by ramming him in the cave ceiling. Let me tell you, these two are probably going to be responsible for the majority of the kills here before the others arrive. Back to Cameron, Zarn believes that he's lied to him, simply because Zarn can't detect the humans in Seth. With that, he calls in the Synods. Before he can get the jump on Cameron, he notices Drexen and Corin as if he were a geomodded albatross noticing Hatsune Miku.
I can't see the end of the horizon! Hatsune Miku!
The gang demands that Zarn let Cameron and that powerful staff go. They try to start shooting, but Zarn can't be taken out by lame gun kills. Because they don't have the methods to stop him, Zarn takes his staff into Cameron's body, adding him to the count for good. Let's start a war in the moon caves now. He was his Seth versus Synods. Corin slays 3 Synods right off the bat before Seth enters the main battle. Drexen and Zarn get into a short scuffle before he starts getting him into a chokehold. Zarn wants to tell Drexen that his father killed his grandma, but Drexen is not Veruzer. Corin also tells the humans about Synod weak points. Head and back are easy ways to add them to the count. A giant quake then happens in the cave, during which Seth goes somewhere. Since he needs help, Michael tells Amy to. Meanwhile, Drexen takes care of a Synod that abducts him. That security is short-lived as Zarn downs Drexen. He keeps on going on about their Synod murder back on Iris, and they'll show them what's what by feasting. Corin gets an axe, and Michael and Amy are almost
completely out of ammo.
There are way too many off-screen Synods to take care of, and Drexen is still on the ground. However, let's get Placavenia up in this shit. Jack and the boys have arrived, and they'll show them how to kill Synods. Oh, and they immediately get 7 down for the count. They know what they're doing. Drexen gets back up, and him and Corin start wailing on Zarn. Meanwhile, the Terror Legionnaires are standing above at least 6 Synod bodies that I probably haven't added yet. Above the men is another wave of Synods. Amy, Michael, and Seth get in the crowd of shooting guys as they kill another singular Synod. Drexen and Corin ultimately have Zarn cornered. He's still alive and still wishing for the downfall. However, Seth, Amy, and Michael come and get shots in on Zarn. Corin even suggests that Zarn should die, but Drexen won't allow it. Seth tells Drexen about karma, but he says consider some sick jail time. That's because Zarn can't handle 5 humans. However, the Synods can, and they get into another battle. Zarn uses his staff to power Seth away, bringing him down to 4. Core kills 2 Synods before getting powered by another one. Sometime during this, Michael is down by Zarn along with Seth. While Amy thinks both Palesters are dead, Drexen confirms Seth's role in Time Heroes intact. Amy and Corin desperately want Drexen to join them in killing Zarn, as it would bring full justice to their cause. He eventually agrees, as the humans are now for new allies. Before they can get to that, Drexen has to activate his revival powers on Seth. Just like that, Seth wakes up inside a module. Seth is okay after that revival. Even Jeff has to tell him, hey look, Amy and Drexen are okay too.
That's amazing.
Amy had thought Seth was dead. Meanwhile, Seth said he only felt pain while fighting. The pain got worse until he saw black, and Drexen's power made Seth into a has-been hotel character. That's just a side effect of the certain death save, which had come from the staff that Seth's known as Zambeth. Now that Zarn has it, he can cause more havoc. Bro, what a trigger-happy guy. Now, since Seth was affected by the power of that staff, Drexen had to get some of that power into him. He isn't invincible, but he now has powers that are not of average humans. He wants to not be has-been hotel levels of Paladin, but he'd die if Drexen did that. Drexen feels solemn about the fact that he got him into this mess, and fearful that humans were harmed. He wants the humans off the moon, but Seth wants to finish the fight. He wants to do something meaningful for once in his life. He doesn't want to run away from anything. He wants Zarn to pay, whether in imprisonment or in death. Drexen walks away with some sort of disagreement with his opinion, but Seth still wants a human victory royale. Especially after... oh, his brother is confirmed dead. Since he is one of the main characters, I'll add him to the count now. Jeff's opinion is that the genocide here is all the fault of President Snow. As if she didn't have that order, none of this would have happened. Sure, they could have run into Drexen and Corin, but outside of that, it would have been more normal. There's no way out of the situation she stuck them in, as it all went down when Cameron was kidnapped. While Seth was knocked out, something even worse was said. Whatever happens on the moon, stays on it. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? There's still people who saw it live. They could still tell people about it. Oh yeah, they could also make people traitors. That's also bullshit, President Snow. Oh, anti-terror legion too. What the fuck are y'all doing? Her cover-up story is that construction is happening, but I'm pretty sure none of these guys have like experience. President Snow, you're such a fucking inexperienced liar. Nice try, I guess. Anyways, Jack says that he likes how Seth looks now, saying that he looks like a skull. Therefore, his new name for the rest of the series was born. Anyways, while Seth was out, Jack got his dog tags back. While he does not also normally agree with the practice of genocide, he says they should start a war against the Synods. You see, that's what I kinda don't get. The characters in Foxhound Wiki call it genocide, even though the Synods have some sort of armed army. Under that, it'd be called a war, since the Synods have weapons to fight back with. If they don't have much of anything to fight back with, it'd be more correct to call it a genocide. Since they know what the Synods are capable of, they decide to go back against them. The movie ends with them going back to do just that. How many people died in the first Moon War? Let's find out and get to the number. Poop. I counted 24 kills on Synods, way low for the series, as shown by this graph, which makes it look really small compared to Time Heroes. Of the 24 I counted, only 2 were men, with the other 22 being Synods. That gives us this pie chart of grass not native to the moon. With a shorter runtime of 88 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.67 minutes. I'll give Amethyst Flamethrower to Cameron, as he's an important character that dies on screen. Broken Pistol will go to Michael Palliser, Seth's brother and main character whose death is only confirmed in the last 10 minutes. And that's it. Synods was released in 2 parts back in 2017 and 2018. I'll get to Moon Wars to Future Soldier again sometime within the next month or 2, but for now, we gotta get back to breaking out of prisons. Until then, I'm Chelsea Rose, and this has been the Parody. Thanks a lot for watching this parody. This was a fun one to go through, despite all the confusion near the end. I'll do recaps for other movies that are either not my current style or got the supercut treatment. I just want them to be refined to my current standards, 4 years into making all these parodies. Even though this parody had its bit of improvisation, almost all of the rest of it was written by me, which is a first for the channel. Thanks for watching.